There are things, the owners of which will certainly find themselves in unpleasant situations. Accidents happen to them, or they are simply haunted by failures. In the ancient world, black magic and curses were in use. They were used for protection, revenge, and much more. People believe that some of the ancient objects found during excavations are filled with negative energy and bring those who keep them to misfortune. In this video, I'll tell you about the cursed ancient finds and more. Hi friend, you're on the KirTop channel. Ancient prints of children's palms. Archaeologists have discovered more than 100 children's handprints on the wall of a cave located in the north of the Yucatan Peninsula. The cave is surrounded by the ruins of the pyramids, and nearby is a ceiba tree, which the Maya considered sacred. Scholars believe the prints were made during an ancient coming-of-age ritual. A total of 137 handprints were found on the walls of the cave. They were made using red and black pigments. Black represented death, red, life, or war. All these prints were made by children about 1,200 years ago. According to researchers, this was part of an initiation rite when children entered puberty. The Maya initiation ceremony was intended for both boys and girls. The girls from the tribe received a shell to wear around their waist, indicating that they had come of age and might have children. The boys went on their first hunt and performed a bloodletting ritual to confirm that they could be considered men. After completing the ritual, they received a white bead to wear in their hair, and before the wedding moved to the community area known as the home of unmarried men. When Spanish conquerors arrived in the area in the early 1500s, there were still large Mayan communities, and archaeologists are still discovering hidden wonders. Medieval witch signs. In the UK, archaeology is exploring witch signs carved on stones found among the ruins of a medieval church. This church stood in Stoke Mandeville, Buckinghamshire, 700 years ago, but today only ruins remain. The find was made during their examination. Now the territory is being cleared for the construction of a railway. In total, 2 signs were found on the stones. Both are similar: a drilled hole in the center and lines emanating from it forming a circle. According to scientists, such witch symbols in the Middle Ages were used to protect against evil spirits. It was believed that this way you could lock them in an endless maze from which they could not get out. Witch signs, or apotropic signs, were intended to protect the inhabitants from evil spirits. Mary's church was built around 1070 after the Norman conquest and was abandoned in the 19th century. In the 20th century, only ruins and several old gravestones remained from it. Michael Court, the project's lead archaeologist, said, "The archaeological work we are doing is helping to uncover and share British history with the world. Unusual discoveries like these give us a fascinating view of the past." And usually such drawings were called dials. There was also a hypothesis that they were used as a sundial. Signs were found not only on churches, but also in houses, sheds, and caves. Magical marks were usually applied to stone or wood near the entrance to a building, especially near doorways, windows, and fireplaces. Real Amazon unearthed in Armenia. In the mountains of Armenia, archaeologists unearthed the grave of a woman who, judging by many signs, was a warrior and died in a battle. The burial is at least 2,600 years old. Taking into account the wounds found on her skeleton, it can be assumed that she was one of the very Amazons described by the ancient historian Herodotus. A unique burial was found back in 2017 in the Bovary I necropolis in the Lori region. In the burial next to the woman's skeleton, there were ceramic vessels and jewelry that date back to the period. The analysis of the bones showed that a woman was buried in the grave who died at the age of 20. Judging by the jewelry found near her, scientists suggested that she had a high social status. However, a more detailed study of the remains showed that she was probably also a warrior. The woman had a strong skeleton and well-developed muscles. The muscles in the upper body were very strong, which indicates significant working activity. For example, the developed pectoral and deltoid muscles indirectly indicate that she was a well-trained archer. Well-developed thigh bones, scientists associate with frequent horse riding. The nature of the injuries found on the bones is also noteworthy. They were most likely obtained in battle. Thus, a stuck iron arrowhead was found in the woman's left knee joint. At the same time, the wound managed to heal long before her death. Archaeologists found traces of 3 more wounds, from which apparently the woman died. The thigh bones retain marks from chopped wounds inflicted, presumably with a sword or an axe, and the lower leg was punctured. According to Armenian scientists, the sheer number of injuries suggests that interpersonal violence was a widespread aspect of life, and the nature of the injuries indicates that they were inflicted by not one, but several people. This could have happened in battle. Lydian artifacts. In 1966, in the province of Usak, archaeologists discovered more than 300 Lydian artifacts, which are believed to belong to the king of Lydia, Karen. All the finds brought a lot of trouble to scientists, largely due to the gold rush, and the locals believe that the curse affected not only archaeologists, but the entire Turkish land. Now, antiquities are exhibited in the Museum of Archaeology in the province of Usak. In 2006, it turned out that one of the artifacts was fake. No one knows who planted the forgery, the owners of the Metropolitan Museum of Art who wanted to exhibit the finds at home, archaeologists who wanted to take possession of the treasures, or did vandals manage to do it in ancient times? On the other hand, it could be a manifestation of the Karen curse. Scientists recreated the appearance of an ancient Scotsman. Scientists have recreated the face of another person who lived centuries ago. This time, it's a Scotsman. In 2015, during the reconstruction of the Aberdeen Art Gallery, experts discovered a burial in which they found 60 intact skeletons and 4,272 fragments of bones that may belong to at least 381 people. This discovery suspended construction work for archaeological research. It was a grown man over 46 years old. This is how he might look. His height ranged from 159 to 166 centimeters, which is below the average for that period. He suffered from extensive dental diseases, periodontal disease, and chronic abscess. He lost some teeth during his lifetime. Research also showed that he was not local, but most likely came from another part of Scotland. Apparently, he and other people found in the burial led a lifestyle with high physical activity. Numerous artifacts were also found, including clothing accessories, personal jewelry. The ancient city of giants. In eastern Ethiopia, a team of British archaeologists have discovered the forgotten city of Harla, built in the 10th century BC. According to local legend, Harla is a city of giants. The giants were not found there, but they found out that the ancient city was one of the centers of jewelry crafts and trade. The excavation is being led by Professor Timothy Insall of the University of Exeter in the UK. He calls Kala a regional craft and trade center that specialized in the production of jewelry. Kala's population was mixed and consisted of foreigners and locals who traded with other countries in the Red Sea region, the Indian Ocean, and possibly even the Arabian Gulf. The discovered artifacts were brought to the city from Madagascar, the Maldives, Yemen, and China. During the excavations, many colored stones and the remains of bats were found. The discovery is changing our understanding of trade in this forgotten part of Ethiopia. Previously, there were legends about the area where the city was found that giants lived there because of the buildings built from large stone blocks. Excavations will continue next year. The team of archaeologists said in a statement that they plan to analyze approximately 300 bodies from the local cemetery to find out what the people buried in ancient times ate. The head of a perfect man. Archaeologists who examined the ruins of the ancient temple of Tanai, built at the turn of the 12th, 13th centuries AD, were looking for a stone at its foot that had rollen down from the roof, but unexpectedly found the head of a bodhisattva statue in this place. In traditional Buddhism, a bodhisattva is a person who has achieved spiritual perfection and is ready to descend into the world to help its inhabitants free themselves from earthly attachments and sufferings and break out of the cycle of rebirths, samsara. The bodhisattva is usually depicted holding his leg as if his master is ready to leave his place and return to a world inhabited by people. The head found is in good condition. Its nose, left ear, and cheek are partially chipped off. The height of the discovered head is 54 centimeters, width 27 centimeters, and thickness 36 centimeters. According to the style, archaeologists have established that the statue was made in the late 12th, early 13th centuries during the reign of Jayavarman VII. It is not yet known where the rest of the sculpture is. They should probably be somewhere nearby, but archaeologists haven't found them yet. In Khmer art, bodhisattva statues usually have 2, 4, or 8 hands holding scrolls, flowers, vessels, and other sacred objects. The head found will be sent for research and restoration, after which it will be put on public display. Senicius' ring. Around the 4th century AD, the Roman Sylvian, who lived in the territory of modern England in the county of Gloucestershire, went to the Celtic bath, created in honor of the god Nodens. After them, the man noticed that his favorite ring was missing. He decided that Senicius had stolen it, returned to the temple, and prepared a curse plate which consisted of a lead bowl with a phrase in Latin. It sounded like this: "In offering for the god Nodens, Sylvian has lost the ring and gives half of its value to the god. Until it is returned to the Nodens temple, a man named Senicius will be sick and weak." The cup was found by archaeologists in 1929. Mortimer Wheeler, a British archaeologist, has identified a link between the stolen ring and the cup, but this cannot be said for sure. On the other hand, the name Senicius was not widespread at the time, so Wheeler's theory may be correct. By the way, it is believed that Senicius' ring inspired Tolkien when he came up with the Ring of Omnipotence from the Lord of the Rings. And so that a new episode on the channel comes out as early as possible, be sure to press your thumb up, write a kind comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your views, bye everyone!